if you can put a quick wave on the chat and mention which city you're joining in from. We know we've got people joining in from across the country. So go on, type out the city in your chat box at the bottom of your screen from where you're joining in today. Wonderful. We've got people from Coimbatore, got people from Kolkata, Bangalore, wonderful, Mumbai, Chennai. Now the answers are flowing in. We've got people from Himachal Pradesh today. Welcome. From Rajasthan, from Gujarat, Mysore, Mumbai. Wonderful. Pleasure to have you all here. From Jammu as well. From Noida. Welcome everybody. Shimla. Great. So we've got quite a wide spread of people joining from across the country. We're excited to have you all here once again. We're running this session today in partnership with George Washington School of Business. Today's session will cover the topic of emotional intelligence in the hospitality management space and how that is a critical skill for the future. We are joined today by Dr. Larry Yu, who's a professor of hospitality management in the Department of Management, School of Business at GW. He has been involved in international tourism and hospitality development and education since 1979. His teaching and research interests focus on organizational, strategic, and global aspects of tourism and hospitality businesses, particularly on organizational behavior, management innovation, employee creativity, and human capital development. We're really excited to have you here, Dr. Yu, with us today. We've also got our colleagues from the administration side. We've got Joe Sikora, who's the associate director at George Washington School of Business. With that, I want to, we've got nearly 250 of you, and I'm conscious that, all of you are super excited to hear from Dr. Yu. But before that, very quickly, I want to put up a quick poll just to gauge what the audience is like for all of us here on the panel. You will see a quick poll pop up on your screen in just under a minute. Tell us which programs are you most interested in? Are you thinking about a master's in accountancy? Are you thinking about business analytics, finance or applied finance, human resource management, information systems technology, tourism, hospitality and event management, international business, thinking about a master's in management, a project management, or an MS in sports management. You see all these options on your screen. Take a quick minute to choose the one that you find most suitable, that aligns with your ambitions. We are here talking about hospitality management, so we do anticipate a lot of you will be looking at tourism, hospitality, and event management. But hopefully this session will appeal to a wider audience as well. So go on, select the option that you find most suitable for you. We'll keep the poll open for another 10 seconds. Which program is of most interest to you? Is it the Masters of Accountancy? Is it the business? Is it the MS in Business Analytics, MS in Finance or Applied Finance, the Masters of Human Resource Management, the MS in Information Systems Technology, the MS in Tourism, Hospitality or Event Management, MS in International Business, MS in Management, MS in Project Management, or Sports Management? We'll close the poll in just a second. We hope all of you have had a chance to select the option that most resonates with you. Good to see about 20% of you, which is the largest number, interested in tourism, hospitality, and event management today. About 16% of you are looking at business analytics. 15 of you have an interest in finance. 12% looking at management, and a good 5-6% interested in accountancy and international business. So good to see a widespread. Hope this session is going to be appealing to all of you as well. And with that, just about the topic very briefly, hospitality and tourism are a people-oriented business, and emotions of individual leaders, supervisors, and employees affect interpersonal relations between leaders and employees and influence team dynamics. Furthermore, the display of personal emotions at work by frontline employees also directly impacts the customer perception and experience as well. So today's session will talk to us a lot more about that and more. So without further ado, I'd love to hand over to Dr. Yu, who will be conducting the masterclass with us today. Dr. Yu.
Well, thank you so much, Paras. Thank you for the so kind introduction. And I'm just delighted to be here to speak to this big group of potential students and interested in the different disciplines our school has to offer. I just want to mention, as I'm going to hold up my slides, share with the audience here. I just wanted to mention, when you are going through the cities and the places those participants are from, and just reminded me of my trip to India, to New Delhi and Nadia in 2019 to participate in educational event organized by the Ministry of Tourism and also the Institute of Hotel Hospitality Management. And I had a wonderful time there, especially Nadia. The meeting was held there. And then I was invited back by the Ministry of Tourism to talk about talent development issues right before the pandemic. So unfortunately, I was not able to participate in that very important conference, which is very much to my research and studies. And so here, as Paras mentioned, I'm a professor of hospitality management in our school and in the management department. And one of my interests is in talent development from different levels of management in business organizations, from leadership, from teams, and also from individual employees. So I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts on emotional intelligence in hospitality management, and especially how critical for the leaders, for the team leaders, and for team members, and also for individuals to perform in a very exciting and also challenging environment in the hospitality workplace. So quickly, as I briefly mentioned earlier, I was introduced earlier, and so I will just spend a few minutes to talk about the nature of hospitality business, which is people-oriented, and then emotional labor in hospitality management, and then focusing on emotional intelligence in hospitality management. I will see if I will be able to get to the case study I prepared. If not, you will have my slide, and we can continue the discussion and dialogue individually through emails and other social media platforms. Just quick overview about the hospitality business, which is really what we call people-oriented business. It's different from other sectors like IT and like business analytics. You work with data, you work with machine, but here the hospitality business still depends on talent, depend on people to provide that service to the customers. Even though in the hospitality industry, I've seen some automations in a few areas of the management, typically in the revenue area, for revenue forecasting. There are some applications now, machine learning in this particular area. However, most of the work, most of the services have been performed by individual human beings. Okay, and so it's labor intensive, food, beverage services, rooms operations, and many other events, meetings held in the hospitality industry. And so personal service creates very important, unique experience, moment, and a memory for our customers. And so those will be delivered by the individual employees. And then they will try to work hard and then regulate their emotions on a daily basis, day in and present themselves in a very positive state of mind and in a very positive emotional state, and then positive behaviors to serve those guests in order to leave them a memorable memory and then unforgettable experience. So exceptional service gives business organizations a competitive advantage. Those excellent organizations are known for their legendary services, which are delivered by individual employees. And so in the hospitality industry, we also have another very distinct characteristic of the business, which is very different from other businesses like manufacturing products and goods. So here, customers travel to destinations. So this is what we call a place of production. So in other businesses like the goods, a pair of shoes is made in a place of production, somewhere in a different place, but the consumers never travel to the place of production to collect their products, to enjoy the experience. Well, those products actually are shipped to the place of consumption. And then you buy the shoes, you probably do not know where the shoes are manufactured. But here in our hospitality business, the place of production and the place of consumption are all in one place. So what happens if a customer is not happy with the product and the service? Okay, they will go to you right away. And they will complain to you, they will complain to your supervisor or even manager right on the spot. So here, the hospitality workers deal with a lot of emotions on a daily basis. Good, positive, and sometimes not too positive. And so this adds more pressure, more challenge to the management, to the leaders, and also to the team workers. And because it's part of the team, if one member feels not good, not positive, and that may affect the members of the other members on the team. And so this is very important, this what we call the location boundedness. So you are constrained by the location because the customers come to you directly. Okay, and so these are some of the unique characteristics of our industry. So then from management organizational behavior standpoint, when we study management, when we study organizational behaviors, we typically examine the multi-level of agents in our organization. So we start with the leaders, typically the managers, the supervisors in our organization. And so in a hotel, we have typically what we call the executive committee, which is made of the general manager and all the department heads. And so those are the leaders in a hotel. So I'd like to share the strategy by Marriott International, which is located right here in Washington, D.C. The leader, they try to attract, develop, and retain them. A diverse cadre of high-performing, team-oriented property management able to motivate and retain the hourly workforce and provide exemplary leadership in workplace. Okay, so here we already see a few hints of emotion right in this short paragraph. Team-oriented, motivate the hourly workforce, and then provide exemplary leadership in the workplace. And then on a different level, we have employees, individual workers. Marriott wants to attract, develop, and retain a diverse hourly workforce capable of providing exemplary service that differentiates Marriott from its competitors. So here we see through individual employees' hard work often involves emotions on a daily basis to deliver legendary service that will make them different. So this is the competitive advantage every hospitality organization wants to develop and wants to leverage. And so this the different levels of agents or people we are studying in hospitality organizations. Okay, what is an emotion? I can spend a whole a session on emotion, but just quickly, I just use this to lead into my discussion coming up. An emotion is a very complex psychological state. I've been doing some study on this topic myself. I will show you one study I co-authored with several colleagues, and also I study emotion for tourists in destinations, and they're using more embodied behaviors. And so that's a different stream of interest I have in my research. But emotion is very complex. There are three different aspects of an emotion. First, it's a subjective experience triggered by different situations and events. And also, different people may experience this particular event and situation in a different way. Some may be negative, some may be neutral, some may be positive to people in different cultures, for instance. And but something is triggered by a particular situation, a particular event. And then the next aspect will be the psychological response. So this is related to our brain, the neural system. And you may feel very excited, you may feel very sad, and then you may feel you are sweating. And so those are reflected in the physiological aspects triggered by the central nerve system, okay? And so those will be a different area of research. And actually, I have also interest in neurotourism, a new stream of research. I'm interested and have been working on a study in this area myself as well. And then a behavioral and expressive response. So this is an expression and understanding of the emotion, and it typically reflected in some reactions and expressions on the part of the individuals. Okay, and I don't know if you watched the Oscar award ceremony last Sunday, and this just came to my mind when I talk about emotion, and then especially this behavioral expressive response. And you see all the three aspects of what happened in the Oscar ceremony on Sunday night. Will Smith and then the host, and had an unfortunate incident right there. And so this had been talked a lot in the movie and also in the public press. And emotion can trigger different reactions and for different things or different comments, for instance. And so this is just incident during the Oscar ceremony on Sunday night. So that's emotion. So now coming to the workplace, the concept of emotion labor, I need to introduce first. This emotional labor concept was introduced by anthropologist Arlie Hochschild, a sociologist, in a seminal work called The Managed Heart, published in 1983, typically discussed emotional labor, and then how those emotions can be regulated. And this emotional labor is very critical for the service workers because they work on a daily basis and going through different emotions of their own emotions and also emotions affected by the guests and also by their co-workers in the workplace, okay? And so then on the other hand, you also have the company policy that regulates the public display of emotion and then bodily expression of service workers, because the companies all have their codes of governance and also their policies regarding behaviors, for instance. And so there's also a regulation of your emotions during your work hours. And so these are all very complex aspects of the workplace and also affect the emotions, the mood of the individual employees in the service business in general and in the hospitality services in particular. So emotional labor. So emotional labor. I have two pictures here on the right. So the question I have for the audience is that, what are these two photos in common? Well, of course, as you can see, our former President Obama has his signature smile and a very, very nice, very approachable. And then you can see the lower part of the picture is the flight attendants of a Chinese airline practicing smile. And so this is required of the service workers in the different aspects of hospitality services, airlines and hotels and travel services, and they all practice smile, and which is so important for the hospitality business. And so the emotional labor in this particular industry also regulated by the expectation of the organization. So organizational missions, when you look at those organizational missions, Oberoi and the Taj Group, and they all have expectations of their employees. Go out to provide the service with a nice behavior, with a smile. And I just mentioned the two largest hospitality organizations in India. And in the US, we have Hilton, Marriott, IHG, and Accor, a French company, and they all follow those organizational mission. And so those behaviors expected by the organizations, and they are specifically stated in the company mission and the culture. Okay, so emotional regulation to meet the standards of operations. These are very important. You provide your service with a smile, with a very positive attitude, and so that will affect the moods of the customers. And so those are all very important part of the mission of any hospitality organizations. Now then the hospitality business in particular, they're different customers, and the customers will treat the employees also differently. And the employees also have their own personal situations oftentimes. And so sometimes they may not be in their top positive mood to go out to serve. And so how do service workers regulate emotion at the work? And so there's this theory typically explaining there are two kinds of behaviors on part of the service workers. One is the so-called the service acting, which explains that some service workers, they will show emotion and when they do not feel that way. And they may hide emotion when they feel that way. And so they're acting, okay? And so basically, this is not the genuine emotion hospitality organizations want to see. And they want the employees, the frontline employees working with the guests directly to have this deep acting. Deep acting refers to more natural, more spontaneous, genuine mood and a genuine happiness when they work with the guests, and then enjoy the interaction with the customer. Okay, so the hospitality organizations really want to train and develop their service employees with this natural, spontaneous, genuine attitude to serve the customers. So that's emotional labor. But the point is that our frontline employees have emotions. And so when they interact with the guests, and they tend to express their emotions in different ways. So as a hospitality organization, how can we train, how can we develop this positive attitude and this positive behaviors in the so-called deep acting aspects of our workforce? And so this is very important. So this is leads to the emotional intelligence I will come to just in a minute. But here, I just want to share with you also in our academic areas of exploration of emotional labor, we also do a lot of research. So those of you who are interested in researching emotional labor, emotional intelligence, there are a lot of topics we research actually, and especially in our management department, relationship between emotional labor and employee satisfaction. There's a direct link. determinants of service acting and a deep acting on emotional fatigue. So if you acting on the service level, okay, this will actually put the pressure on the employees. So we have an emotional fatigue. Okay, we really want to develop this genuine emotion and reaction on the part of our service workers to serve the guests. Okay, so this is another very interesting topic. A lot of researchers exploring a relationship between emotional labor and a turnover. If you act too much, so this will put pressure on the workers. And so by the end of the day, they say, okay, this is too much for me and I'm going to quit. And so there's a relationship between lots service acting and the turnover. A discrepancy in expectations of emotional labor between managers and employees. There may be a gap between the expectations of the managers and then the employees in terms of emotional regulation, for instance. And so this also another area of some very interesting studies published in management. And then the effect of leader managers' emotion on employee performance. And so that's why I want to highlight this study. I work with several colleagues in China on the effect of leader managers' emotion on employees' performance. And so I also highlight this for your reference. So those of you who want to pursue academic research and eventually go into doctoral program, and there's just tremendous opportunities to do research. And I call it a very fertile field for management scholars to explore emotional labor and emotional intelligence. So now, just quickly moving into emotional intelligence in hospitality management. This is increasingly important topic for hospitality management because we are increasingly fighting for talent for the hospitality industry, fighting for talent with IT, foreign talent for pharmaceutical and engineering. And so this is very important for our management scholars like me to study. And for talent research in hospitality management, emotional intelligence is critical consideration in hiring, promoting, and developing both leaders and employees, okay? So EI research offers evidence-based guidelines for organizations seeking to enhance their ability to achieve their business goals. So these identify at the mid-career as having high leadership potential are found far stronger in emotional intelligence competencies than were their less promising peers. And so organizations now increasingly looking for EI in their managers and in their employees, and then to develop them into leadership positions. So just quickly, for leader and a manager, so I'm using the two different levels, the multi-level approach from our management behavior discipline. A leader, manager, foster organizational culture to enhance emotional intelligence, enhancing empathy and understanding in workplace, very important. Provide emotional support to employees, motivate employees to perform at the highest level. How you can motivate employees to perform this deep act, okay? And so nurture organizational citizenship behaviors. So this will actually encourage your employees to go beyond their duties, okay, to perform actual role performance. So go beyond their job descriptions and to perform at this level and also individually. So this is what all organizations like to see, the organizational citizenship behaviors. Without telling them to do anything, they will go out to do it and go beyond their duties and to do it. Then you have an excellent, well-functioning organization for your business. And so for employees, teams, smaller teams, understand your own feelings, listen and understand others' feelings. This is very important. The people who are around you, the people who you are serving, co-workers, supervisors, and your guests. Show empathy for others, very important. And improve communications. You communicate with your co-workers, your supervisors, and of course, your guests. Reduce internal conflict and strengthen teamwork. This is all very important. We work in a team in the hospitality businesses. And so your work will directly affect your team performance. And then anticipate guest needs and expectations. And this is also very important, how you can anticipate your guest needs. And you can head off some potential problems later on. And so this from the team and employees' perspective. And then this is basically a summary of the emotional intelligence dimensions for hospitality leaders and workers. Know your emotions, self-awareness, very important. Manage your emotions, self-management. Recognize and know others' emotions. This is very critical. People around you, your teammates, your guests, and even your supervisors. So awareness of others, other people's emotions and well-beings. Manage the emotions of others. Interpersonal relationship skills, very important. How you interact with your teammates, how you interact with your supervisors, and of course, very important, how you serve your guests. So this is very critical, manage the emotions of others. Motivate yourself to achieve outcome. And so this is very important. So there also, from the academic aspect, there are also tools for assessing your emotional intelligence. And I just want to mention one on the MSCEI test. It's basically 3 scholars developed this test matrix to test individuals' emotional intelligence on 4 dimensions: emotions, receiving emotions, using emotions, understanding emotions, and managing emotions. And so it's divided into the experiential EI quotient and then strategic EI quotient. And so these are the different dimensions. So I cannot get too much into what they measured, but if you're interested, there's a link for you to take a look and let me know if you have any questions. I will be happy to work with you, answer your questions individually. Okay, I think my time is up. I will leave some time for questions and also my colleague Joe to comment, but you will have this presentation. A good example I want to share is Ritz-Carlton. It's excellent hospitality organization in the world. Does this emotional work very well. They call it employee empowerment. Okay, all the employees in Ritz-Carlton are empowered, and I will share with you all the information they use for measure emotional engagement of their employees. They call associates. Okay, and so so how they measure it? If you're interested, you can dive into it, and then you are welcome to contact me. I'd be happy to discuss with you individually. So with that, I like to thank you for coming in to attend this session. And I will turn the mic to Paris or Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Yu. Very insightful. Definitely made me think a lot more about how we consider and think about emotional intelligence and customer service more broadly as well. So thanks for the masterclass. Right, we're just going to move screens in just a second. Wonderful, we're all back here. Great. So without further ado, I want to put for everyone attending, if you have any questions for Dr. Yu, please post them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screens. We will be taking them in a couple of minutes. So feel free to add them there. I'll take questions in about 10 minutes from now. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass over to Joe, who will tell us a little bit more about GW and the School of Business and the offerings there. I know there have been some questions around that, so this should be extremely useful. Joe, over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Yu, for sharing that really interesting presentation. I definitely learned a lot, and what a great example for those on the line today for the type of academic experience you could potentially expect at the George Washington University School of Business. My name is Joe Sikora. I'm Associate Director of Graduate Admissions here at GWSB. I've been here for just over 3 years, serving on the admissions committee for several of our programs. Today, I'm just here to give a very brief overview of the school as a whole and some of our programs within it. So if you have any questions afterwards, I'm very happy to answer them. And then we'll also have some resources for you to be able to learn more at the end of the presentation as well. In terms of our university, we are George Washington University, and we're located right in Washington, D.C. So Washington, D.C. being the capital of the U.S., we actually find ourselves right in the center of Washington, D.C. itself. So right on the East Coast, great weather, near a lot of interesting cities as well. And Washington, D.C. is an incredible place to study business, particularly tourism, hospitality, and event management. And George Washington University does a great job of capitalizing on our location and providing a really great experience for our students. As you can see here, kind of on the left side of your screen, that's our location. We really are in the center of this really dynamic city, just blocks away from important, global institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, the State Department, White House, and then a slew of, private organizations as well. Dr. Yu mentioned that Marriott's headquarters are right here in Washington, D.C., as well as many other multinationals. IBM is very nearby. Nestle has a huge office here, Gartner, Accenture, Deloitte. You can see just the names of the buildings nearby, and it's a really impressive place to be able to grow your career. For us at GW School of Business, we're comprised of about 3,500 students at any given time, and that's within a larger university as well. We're a very large institution, very much the flagship research institution here in Washington, D.C. And what's great about that for our students is that they're able to take advantage of the resources of a very large, expansive school that has a great reputation in the city, huge alumni network, great relationships across many different sectors. But I will say within the graduate student population, all of our programs are actually rather small, meaning that you still have the intimacy of getting to know your professors very well, the ability to build really deep relationships with your fellow classmates, and really affords you a very personalized experience while being able to take advantage of really extensive resources. What we're known for worldwide, is quite a few things. One being international business. That's really at the forefront of everything we do. at the School of Business, whether that's in, tourism, hospitality, or any of the other fields that we have master's degrees in. We're also one of the top ranked institutions regarding diversity. And that's something that's important to, our ethos, throughout everything that we do, whether or not that's, geographical, racial, gender diversity. It's something that is a hallmark of all of our programs. I will also say, we're very well positioned in the tourism and hospitality space. I can't remember if Dr. you mentioned it, but our program has been around for a very long time. The Masters of Tourism, Hospitality and Event Management. We're one of the first in the world to be able to offer this program. So it's something that we have a great deal of expertise in, and it's something that we have a lot of renown for across industries. In terms of what our students have access to within our program, really we think of it as an entire ecosystem of offerings besides the academics. So there's the academics, of course, but then that's also going to be supported by extracurricular and experiential education. It's going to be supported by a phenomenal career center that really works one-on-one with each of our students and builds relationships with employers as well. And all of that is kind of designed to support you taking advantage of the full extent of your experience, both broadening your academic expertise, your professional development, and the experiential hands-on opportunities that you have as well. A couple things that we offer our students are actually available publicly as well. So we have a selection of signature series. So very much like Dr. Yu's presentation today, we want you to be able to continue to get a taste of the academic experience, that our students are able to access. So we have George Talks Business, which is a weekly 30-minute interview series that we have. This is available on YouTube. We also have GWSB Expertise. These are short articles that our faculty post. Then we also have a GWSB Proud podcast series, which are interviews mostly with alumni, as well as some of our faculty directors, our career center, and different experts like that. So feel free to Google any of those so you can kind of continue to not just learn more about our program, but learn something about what the different experts are able to provide as well. The programs that we offer, we have many that are STEM focused, and I want to focus on those first because that's something that's very interesting to international students in terms of being able to get an extension on your work eligibility post MBA. So we have, I know we checked on, what programs you might be interested in at the beginning of the session. Many folks said, things like business analytics, information systems technology. These are STEM focused degrees that we have that many students go into. And what's great about our program, because we share resources across all these different departments, if you're here, studying MS Business Analytics, MS Information Systems Technology, but you also have interest in tourism, hospitality, and event management, you will of course be able to get very involved in that space extracurricularly, take advantage of the Career Center resources that we have in that space as well, and, be able to leverage that degree, to go into really whatever career sector that you're interested in. Across all of our 13 specialized master's programs, we have quite a few. At the bottom of your screen, I have highlighted the tourism administration degree. I should have updated that to its new name. I apologize for that. It is now called the MS in Tourism, Hospitality, and Event Management. That is one of many degrees that we offer here at the School of Business. And what's cool about this degree also is that we also offer a dual degree between the MS in Tourism, Hospitality, and Event Management and our MBA program. So if you're, further along in your career and you're considering an MBA and you're weighing, should I think about an MBA or should I think about a specialized master's degree? If you're interested in going into something like tourism, hospitality, and event management, the nice thing is we do have a dual degree available as well. And then I know some folks selected that they were interested in our MS in management degree. What's great about an MS in management, especially here at the GW School of Business, is that it's a broad general management degree for kind of the 2/3 of the curriculum. And then students also are going to be customizing that degree by pursuing one of these graduate certificates in conjunction with the MS in management. So it gives you a great opportunity to really specialize, the MS in management, into a particular subject area. So again, widely applicable certificates here, whether or not it's something in analytics, if you're interested in digital marketing, if you're interested in management of technology and innovation, there's different finance certificates. There's a wide variety, kind of something for everyone. And our students really appreciate being able to specialize that, that general degree via these certificates. In terms of the application process, it is quite straightforward. It can be a little intimidating, of course, but that's why we here on the admissions team, we're here to help. There's an online application, so it's a fully online application. There is an $80 application fee. We do waive that for attendees of today's event. There's a code on the bottom of your screen. When you go to submit your application, that it'll ask you to pay, and then for payment method, you just change it to request a waiver and you submit that code there. And then we take care of everything after that for you. In addition to that, you will need to submit all university level transcripts, and they all do need to be evaluated if they are international transcripts. So please keep that in mind. That can be a bit of a time intensive process. So it's a good idea to get that started immediately if you're considering applying, because that you don't want to get delayed by that. You'll also be submitting a resume, a statement of purpose, and then 1 or 2 letters of recommendation. Some degrees require 1, some require 2. And then for international applicants, an English language proficiency test is also required, and that can be fulfilled via the TOEFL, the IELTS, or Duolingo as well, which some find more accessible than some of the other tests. And then finally, if you're interested in applying for fall 2022, we are still accepting applications for this intake. The deadline is May 1st, but we do accept applications on a rolling basis. So you would be encouraged to submit your application as soon as possible. I wouldn't wait for May 1st. If you're able to submit sooner, you would be definitely encouraged to. So if you're interested in fall 2022, there is absolutely still time. There is scholarship available. There is time for visa processing. So you'd be encouraged to do so. And then in terms of being in touch with us, we have a team of, it's myself and a team of admissions advisors that work really one-on-one with anyone who's interested in our program to provide as much information and support as we can along the way. So feel free to reach out to us by emailing business@gwu.edu, and one of our admissions advisors will be in touch with you in a few days, and we'll be able to, help answer any questions that you have. So we're very more than happy to help out however we can. And then finally, I just wanted to let you all know that we are having a virtual open house this coming Saturday. It's running from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. This is a great event. It's really one of our best opportunities to learn more about our programs. We'll have a presentation by our associate dean. We have a presentation from our career center. We'll be having an alumnus of one of our programs talking about his experience founding his own business and some of the success that he's had. He's recently received a grant from Google. So that'll be really interesting to hear his story. We'll also have current students available via a panel where you'll be able to ask any questions of them. And then there will also be some admissions presentations on some of our specific programs. So we definitely encourage you to stop by there if you're able to. And then that's it for me. I really appreciate you sticking around to learn more about our admissions process. I know we're going to be transitioning to Q&A right now. So if you have any questions for the admissions side of things, I'm very happy to help answer them. And if you have any questions for Dr. Yu, I believe he's available still as well. Thank you so much, everybody.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for that presentation. For all of you listening in, like Joe mentioned, if you have other questions, I've got a few that have come in already. So we will try and start with them right now. But if there are any other questions that any of you have, please feel free to post them into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen too. Wonderful. So without further ado, the first question, and I'll open this to both of you actually, because this is sort of specific to the program itself as well. There is Nihai Kant, who asks about the eligibility of pursuing the program in hospitality. Just a little bit more about the experience needed, and Dr. Yu and Joe, if between you guys you want to answer and add on any specifications that someone specifically interested in this program could learn from, that would be fantastic. Dr. Yu, if you want to go first.
Okay, sure. I will just go first about the our student profiles. And well, our program, we have students with different professional backgrounds. We have students who are fresh out of college and very interested in the hospitality tourism business. And especially in India, we have seen an uptick of students from India in the last few years. And right now, I think we have 5 of them in our program. And because India is such a big country and wonderful, wonderful cultural heritage, history, and hospitality, nice people. It's to me, it's a great destination for the world to travel. That's why I was there in 2019. I really enjoy meeting the flagship Institute of Hotel Management and met a lot of students there. And so then on the other hand, we have some students who are already working in the industry coming back to hone their knowledge and skills, especially the current knowledge, and to equip them for the competitive workforce and for advancement. And so the age also ranges. Our typical age about 26 years, and so we have students fresh out of college, and then some students who out in the field for some years, and also we have some career changers and switching from other fields to hospitality. And so it's very dynamic, diverse, and we call our program as an interdisciplinary field. So we take students from different academic backgrounds and professional backgrounds.
Wonderful. Joe, anything you'd like to add on?
Not much. I think that was a great overview. I think, to be maybe a tiny bit more clear and for the question, are there any, specific requirements or anything like that? And the answer is really no. Okay, so there's no, hard GPA cutoffs. There's no explicit work experience requirements. As Dr. Yu kind of mentioned, it's a very interdisciplinary program in terms of the background of the students. They come from a wide variety of backgrounds. So our side, on the admission side of things, is to approach each application in a very holistic way. So we'll be looking at your academic background. It's important, of course. We'll be looking at your professional background. That's important as well, of course. But we really are encouraging applicants to apply to the program, put your best application forward. And our side of the admissions side is to try and make a case and try and understand, whether or not you're going to be able to be successful in the program.
Wonderful. And with that, I think a key comment that I'd like to leave everyone attending as well, it's about finding the right fit. So yes, it's some bit about the qualifications that you may have, the work experience potentially. The good bit is, this program in particular does not need a specific minimum number of years of work experience. So if you are currently in your final year and looking to study soon, this could be a potential good opportunity for you as well. Look at this degree as an investment into your future. It's certainly something that all specialized master's programs or graduate school at large also offers to candidates that study abroad, and particularly from India. We'll take the next question here. It's from Sakshi, and there are probably 2 questions from Sakshi and from Sumit, who are both asking on a similar tangent. So I'll combine both. The question is largely about career opportunities. And Dr. Yu, if I can come to you first, what kind of career trajectory have you seen from candidates from India who've come and studied in the program? So, some bit of idea of the kind of roles they go into. Do they stay in the US and work? Do they go back to India as well? If you can elaborate a bit on that, that'd be really helpful.
For those questions, for the hospitality tourism businesses, and the opportunities are really abound in many different aspects of the organizations. And so, so first you have opportunities with the property level, meaning you work with a hotel locally, and then you have opportunities at the corporate level. I have one of my favorite students, Sammy, who originally came from India. Now she is a mid-level manager in Marriott International in the corporate office. And so she graduated for almost, close to 20 years now. And so, and then opportunities then by functions, marketing and finance and IT and then services. And we talk about the emotional intelligence, very important for services. And so there are just so many opportunities. Now, the advancement in the hospitality industry is also relatively fast because globally, the tourism industry, before the pandemic, developed so fast. And so now we saw things are getting back to normal. And so we expect all the hospitality organizations will bring their full workforce back. And then, so that's very encouraging. And the workforce is dynamic, very young. And so you can just basically find your own areas of interest and expertise you can grow in the property level and then can go into the corporate level. So depending on your ambition. And also there are tremendous international opportunities for our students. Some of our students return to their home countries, for instance. And so these are just tremendous opportunities. There are just so many, depending on what you want to do. I typically put them into three bucket of skills. One is service, people-oriented. One is engineering, technology-oriented, IT. And then one is finance, accounting-oriented. Finance, revenue management, big skills we need for the hospitality business. So if you are good in any of those three areas, it's the right industry for you.
Not sure if we lost Paris there. It looks like maybe we did for a moment, but I'll just jump in and share my perspective more broadly at the school of business level, in terms of what our Career Center can provide. Our Career Center is really available to work one-on-one with each individual student. And I think what they do really well is meeting each individual student where they are. Some students are very advanced in terms of, having a clear idea of what they want to do post-degree. Some students, they arrive on campus and they already know exactly what they want to do at the end of their career. Many others arrive and have a more general idea and are open to different possibilities and are open to helping discover that, which is either is a great way to approach your graduate education. And our Career Center is able to provide you with tools and frameworks to explore and consider, and research different opportunities and help you narrow in on where you want to focus that search. So that's going to be true really across any of our degrees, and they do an excellent job of that. I'll say also that, what our students are really able to leverage as well is the outside of the academic experience as well. We have so many guest speakers and alumni events and networking opportunities where we bring experts in from a wide range of fields, including tourism, hospitality, and event management, to meet with our students and just give them additional fresh on the ground perspective from these varied practitioners that are operating in the field now. So it's something that all of our students across programs are going to be exposed to. And it's something that is very beneficial in terms of helping map out and explore what you want to do with your career post-degree.
And these are great comments, Joe. So I'm just going to make a few more comments because I have to run. I have a class at 10, so I told my class I will be a few minutes late. But I just want to add to what Joe just mentioned. DC is also, it's a great location for studying tourism hospitality business. And DC is the center of policy, and DC is also has so many tourism hospitality organizations here, tremendous opportunities. And we actually have a more requests for internships, for jobs than the students, the total number of students we have. Tremendous opportunities in travel, in hospitality, in events. Another very important and a big area of research for event, for celebrations, for festivals, for instance, how to manage those mega events. And so great opportunities and a great also students interested in for policies and also society. And so that's another very important area we focus on, how we can leverage tourism for alleviate poverty in different parts of the country. And so how we can leverage tourism and corporate responsibility to help society and to improve people's life in a local destination. And so we actually get into many of those very dynamic discussions, and in addition to professional managing the hotels, travel agencies, or event companies. So with that, I think I'm going to sign off because I'm going to run to my class 11:10. I told my class I will be a few minutes late. This is just tremendous opportunity for me to share what we have at the GW School of Business, and so happy to talk to some potential students, or at least, hospitality and tourism is a big industry in India now. And so I'm looking forward to return to visit India once, we can travel more, more adequately. So with that, thank you so much, Paras. Thank you, Jill, and thank you for everybody who are attending this session. So I'm going to go to my class.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Yu, and apologies.
You in my class as well. So.
Thank you. Apologies, everybody listening in. I had a bit of a connection failure, but we're back live now. Joe, thank you for answering some of the questions. There's one more question. We are 10 minutes over, and there's still about 270 of you here. So, we're excited to see that the interest in GW School of Business is extremely high. We'll take this last question so that we're not leaving any stone unturned for any of the candidates. Shruti, who is currently, who has a bachelor's degree in hotel, hospitality, and catering management, and has been working for the last 5 years and as an executive assistant in several Hilton hotels, as well as some other industries, is keen to understand, what kind of program would be best suited for her. And obviously, Joe, there's no magic box for you to pick a program out of the hat. But given her experience, she says she's interested in HR as a domain, human resources. Is that something that you would recommend or you'd like to advise in this case?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, obviously getting into specifics is a little bit challenging, but broadly speaking, we get some version of this question a lot, which is, which master's degree is the right one for me based on, XYZ background. I think there's kind of two strategies to really consider. One is specializing and one is broadening, right? So you have in this particular case, you have a degree already in, I didn't quite catch all the components, but hospitality or something like that. So now, and you have some experience in hospitality, so now you have a choice to make. Do you further specialize in hospitality by pursuing a degree like our MS in tourism, hospitality, and event management? Now you're really demonstrating to employers and investing in yourself in a very specific area, saying I am an expert in hospitality, event management, and tourism. I have 2 degrees. I have all this experience. This is what I do. This is who I am. And that's a great route to take if what you're interested in doing is, very much aligning to that industry, for a good chunk of your career. Another route to take could be diversifying, and broadening your skill set. You may consider a broad degree like an MBA or an MS in management, which is kind of a generalist degree that's designed for taking your previous specialized knowledge and then elevating your general management skills in a way that's applicable anywhere, but ideally you'll be leveraging your previous skill set as you kind of continue on your career. That's a route to take. MBAs and MS managements are also great for career switchers, or people who are looking to pivot, or you can also specialize kind of in another direction, like you're mentioning HR. You may, there's a lot of folks who are interested in analytics and things like that. Maybe what you want to do is kind of combine your background with another particular skill set in order to even further specialize. Now you're approaching, your postmaster's career, phase with expertise in 2 areas. I'm an expert in, hospitality because of my previous degree and my previous career. Now I have this degree in, let's say, HR, that really allows you to really stand out against other candidates in a kind of a more narrow swim lane then, because now you're looking at specifically being an HR leader, in hospitality. So there's a lot to consider, but there's also in a lot of ways not necessarily a bad answer. Any 3 of, I don't know if I sketched out 2 or 3 paths there, but any of those could potentially be the right one. And no matter what, the master's degree is very valuable, out there in the landscape anyway. So it's hard to make a wrong choice, but it's a tough question, and it's good that you're thinking about it.
Wonderful. And for many others who are thinking on similar lines, what I would advise also, in addition to what Joe has mentioned, read up about the programs that you're interested in, understand what kind of modules are there on offer. Do they interest you as much as just a broader topic? And to add to what Joe said, think about if you're trying to specialize further in a specific domain, or you want to now start generalizing a bit further with an MBA or an alternate degree. But with that, we've tried to take as many questions as we can. We are over time. So Joe, a big thank you for staying on and answering all questions, as well as sharing more about GW School of Business. For candidates, there is an open day that GW is hosting soon. Details of that are in your chat box at the moment. Please save that link. We will send you an email with that too. We have also shared in the chat box the email address if you have any further questions for Joe and the team. With that, all the very best in your decision-making journey. We hope this session was useful, and we look forward to welcoming you to many more in the future. Thank you, Joe, and for the rest of you, have a lovely evening as well. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.